More than 90% of our fueling is done right here at our home base with an electric fuel pump out of a tank, and that works really good. But sometimes we have need to fuel off-site, so we've got a couple solutions for that. Sometimes we'll just carry jugs of fuel with us depending on how much we need. Other times we have to fuel out of a 55-gallon drum, and we've got a couple solutions for that. We've got a hand pump that's a little heavier, and then we've got on the other extreme a siphon hose, which is very light but doesn't go very fast. I'm looking for something in between, something that's faster than a siphon hose, lighter than a hand crank fuel pump. And I've reached out to a few of you to see if you've got any good ideas. And I've come up with something, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So here we have what's probably the gold standard of mobile pumping, portable pumping out of a barrel. You've got your basic hand pump, we've got a counter, and then a quick connect filter, and then a quick connect line set. It takes a bit to pump it. It takes a bit of strength to do it, and it'll wear your arm out, and it's good to switch up occasionally, but you can pump a full barrel out in 7 minutes. So that's the fastest of all the systems right there. 7 minutes to pump a full barrel, and you've got it filtered and through a counter. We've used this when we're doing sling loading on an outstation and we need to refuel. We've used it when we're doing relief work at a place where it's not our base where we have fuel and we're pumping out a barrel. So the downside of this rig is that it weighs 9.7 kilograms, which is almost 21 and a half pounds. So this whole system weighs a lot to carry it. And if weight's an issue, that might be a disadvantage to you. In addition to the hand crank pump, mobile pump, I want to add that we also have in one of our other regions this electrical pump, which is pretty much the same thing. We just timed it. It pumps everything down in 8 minutes, so 1 more minute to pump it all. And this one works off of a battery, a 12-volt battery that you have to take with you, and it does a really nice job. It's got the counter on it. It's got a filter. It weighs a little bit less than the hand crank. So it just depends on if you want to go old school with a hand crank or depend on electricity to run it. But this is a very good alternate to the hand crank system. Okay, so the siphon hose method of getting fuel out of a barrel is the most basic. And we use a siphon hose. We use the type with the check valve, so we start it like that to get the siphon going. You have to have a fuel jug to put the fuel into. And then we use the Mr. Funnel to put it from the fuel jug into the helicopter. And you can siphon with a barrel upright down to somewhere around halfway, and then you're going to lose the siphon. Then once the fuel barrel is about half full, you can manage to get it tipped over, and you can get a siphon going from here down into a fuel can that's tipped over. So it starts going a lot slower at this point. And then once the fuel gets even lower in the barrel, you can manage to lift it up on top of 2 other barrels or something to raise it up. Then you can continue to siphon the rest of the fuel out of the barrel into the can. So here's our super simple system. We've got a tire pump and a modified lid, and we've got a pipe fitting with a hose.
It's beautiful.
And it pumps right out of there. It keeps a steady flow. All right, so we're gonna pressurize this fuel tank, this 55-gallon drum, because we wanna know at what pressure this will fail, this will burst. There's only one way to find that out, and that's to make one burst with pressure. So, gotta have a air fitting that will stay on here because I don't want to hold this on here while it's getting ready to blow. So I think we've got something figured out here. This will hold itself on. I've got the trigger tie wrapped close on here. We don't have any air pressure on here yet. Gonna hook it up. That should be ready to go. Hopefully this will hold itself on there. It's not doing a real good job. That should do. All right, so we're set here. Now we can close our hangar doors and we can go on the inside, and we're gonna watch this all on video footage while we add pressure incrementally to this and see at what pressure that it blows at. So here we go. Notice the top and bottom are bulging long before it blows. Okay, she blew. She definitely blew. And the top, we probably didn't get this on film. It went all the way over here. It's 20, 25 feet away. Hey, and if you're ever wondering how to get the top off of a 55-gallon drum, this will do it. That's incredible. We've determined that 60 psi is too much and causes this to blow. So we're not going much over 20 psi as we pump this thing.
You want to show them?
Really, we're down there around 10 or even well under 15. So pretty safe operation here. Totally portable. We'll get the final weight on this, how much it all weighs. But I think we got a workable system here for mobile pumping. When we have to carry our pumping system with us and we have a barrel at our destination that we're going to pump from. So even though I got the kids out here helping me today, I can actually do this all by myself. I could be holding this into the inlet of the helicopter and pumping it. And if one arm gets sore, I can just switch arm. I can do this all day. We're timing it right now to see how long this actually takes to empty a full barrel. With the siphoning method, it took a full hour. So I'm hoping for a lot quicker with this. I mean, so far I can tell it's going a lot quicker. The first version of our setup here had our hose connected to this piece that went in here, and our air nozzle, our Schrader valve, was connected to the big hole that went in there, and that had some problems with it. If you look closely, you'll see that this was actually leaking. This is the same thread pattern, but spacing, but it's not really a pipe thread. It relies on the seal in these things to actually seal the fuel off. So I came up with a second version that worked a lot better. So I put the Schrader valve into the smaller lid, and put the hose connection for this into the bigger lid. And then you might wonder why this is on here, and that's so that we can get all the fuel out of here. And then even tip this up a little bit when the fuel's getting low, and put something under there, and then we can get all the fuel out. And we just tried a few different things, ended up finding that a couple O-rings is what did it. A couple O-rings on this fitting. So that's the full setup. And one thing that with the siphon method and the pump, the hand crank pump method, we still left about 2 gallons inside the barrel, where this is going to get just about all the fuel out of the barrel once it's tipped up, and this downpipe is getting all the fuel in the bottom. So that's the final setup, and basically these two pieces and the hose and the tire pump. The final version of the tire pump system actually came down to 2.5 kilograms, which is only 5.5 pounds. So there you have it, at least 4 different ways to pump fuel from a barrel in a remote location. You've got the electric pump. It's going to cost you 27 pounds to carry it with you, and it'll pump a barrel down in 8 minutes. You'll have to have a way to charge your batteries at night. And then similar to that, you've got the tried and true hand crank pump. That'll cost you 21.5 pounds to transport it, and it'll pump a full barrel down in 7 minutes. And then probably the most simple method is going to be the siphon method. But by the time you take your 2 jugs to siphon into, it's going to cost you 16 pounds, and it takes a full hour to siphon 1 barrel. And then the one that I presented here is a tire pump method. It's going to cost you only 5.5 pounds, and it'll take 30 minutes to pump a full barrel down. So it really just depends on what your needs are, how much weight you have to spare, and how quickly you have to pump the barrel down. You've got your choices here. It was fun comparing these different systems. If you've come up with any good ideas, let me know.